Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salam sejahtera. Selamat datang ke channel. Saya nak masuk ke stadium tour. Kita akan start masuk 9.50 pagi. Ni gambar Ronaldo. Ini stadium. Kita akan pukul 9.50 pagi. Sekarang kita kat luar stadium. Kita segak masuk ke dalam stadium. Sekarang jam 9.21, kita akan insyaAllah masuk pukul 9.50. Yang ni kita nak gerak masuk ke dalam stadium. Ini tempat nak beli tiket kalau ada match. Ini kosong sebab stadium tak buka lagi untuk stadium 2. Stadium 2 akan buka lebih kurang pukul 9.50. Dan ni memang kosong. Ini semua dah sejarah untuk tu. Hai Arif Sufian. Okey, ni adalah Manchester United punya stadium. Kita sekarang ni kat sini tak berapa sejuk. Cuaca dah mula panas sebab dah masuk musim bunga. Ini dia punya kedai souvenir. Kedai bang-bang MU yang original ke Old Trafford. Ni dia. Tapi harga dia agak mahal lah. Kalau kita convert kat duit Malaysia, boleh mencecah 100 hingga 500 ringgit Malaysia. Mahal, agak mahal. Dan stadium tour harga dia 100 pound total untuk 4 orang. Ni berada kat luar. Hari ni memang kosong sikit sebab tak ada match di antara MU dan lagi kelab-kelab lain. Biasanya kalau ada match memang kelab ni penuh. Sekarang ni kita nak masuk dalam ni nanti pukul 9.50 nanti insyaAllah. Sekarang ni London pukul 9.20 petang. 9.22 pagi. Okey. Sebab apa? Tak silap saya stadium akan buka pukul 9.30 macam tu baru dia akan buka. Dan ni stadium lagi tutup sebabkan hari ni Ahad, kami orang pergi kerja. Jadi kami insyaAllah mungkin stadium kosong, jadi kami berpeluang untuk tak ramai orang. Jadi sedap sikit lah nak pergi masuk dalam stadium nanti. Ni, jadi kalau nak masuk dalam stadium, dia kena ada security card. Bukan saja nak masuk, saya nak masuk tapi tiket kita nak masuk pukul 9.50 pagi. Jadi sekarang ni tak masuk lagi, kita nak masuk stadium tu nak tengok Ronaldo punya sejarah apa semua dalam ni. Tengok dalam stadium. Kita nak tengok macam mana Manchester ni sebuah kelab yang sangat hebat ya, tuan-tuan. Tengok orang putih jogging kat sini macam jogging kat depan stadium Shah Alam sebab dia tinggal sini. Nampak? Ni semua tempat beli tiket apa semua. Tapi ini masa tak ada match, tak ada perlawanan bola sepak. Kalau ada, memang ni semua penuh. Mega store exit ni confirm ramai orang beli. Yelah, bagi dia orang 20 pound tu murah. Bagi kita 20 pound tu berapa? 100 ringgit tu. Jadi agak mahal. Jadi kami ada kesempatan untuk masuk stadium tour. Match dia adalah pada lebih kurang 6 bulan 4 lawan dengan West Ham. InsyaAllah. Itu kami tak boleh pergi sebab masa tu tengah raya. Ya, masa saya dah balik ke London. Masa tu tengah menyambut hari raya, insyaAllah bersama dengan 250 orang rakyat Malaysia yang tinggal di UK. Sama ada belajar ataupun bekerja di sini. Okey. Sekarang jam 9.25. Lagi berapa minit lagi kami akan bergerak masuk. Sekarang ni anda boleh tengok kawasan luar ni memang kosong. Tapi kejap lagi memang akan penuh sepadat-padatnya manusia, insyaAllah. InsyaAllah. Dalam tempat-tempat orang nak masuk dalam ni nak tengok match. Tapi kita akan masuk ada belah sana sebab kita nak masuk stadium tour. Saya nak tanya satu soalan lah kat korang. Yang zaman baju panjang ni tahun berapa lah? Yang zaman dia pakai baju-baju macam ni tahun berapa korang rasa? Ni tahun berapa punya zaman? Saya tahu ni dalam zaman kegemilangan kan. Yang MU Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. Kalau kita nak bergerak masuk, InsyaAllah Ni tiket nak beli. Ni memang check bag. UK memang ketat security. Sebab dia akan check bag-bag kita semua sama ada kita ada bawa apa-apa benda yang tak sepatutnya dibawa di tempat ni. Kalau ada mask. Ni tempat. Ni kalau ada mask ni penuh ni, parking ni penuh. Tapi sebab kan hari ni Ahad, orang Kristian pergi gereja, hari tak pergi. Jadi bersama kita Dr. Azizul Rahman, akademik Dr. Azizul Rahman, kau boleh daftar kelas CP ada sekarang. Okey. Dari sini baru nampak. Nampak? Kemegahan sebuah kelab Manchester United. Akhirnya kita boleh buka masuk sekarang. Jadi nampaknya sekarang kami dah mulai bergerak masuk ke dalam stadium tour MU. Tak sabar nak tengok macam ni dalam ni nanti. Nak tengok apa ni? Changing room Ronaldo apa. Kita tengok dalam ni. Nampak? Saya tak sabar nak tengok tu. Macam mana dalam ni yang padang tu. Cantik tu. Sebab kat sini, dekat UK ni salah satu tak naik. Diorang memang menekankan bola sepak. Tu benda menarik. Kat sekolah, cikgu tak marah budak-budak main bola. Cikgu galakkan budak-budak main lah bola. Main bola. Sebab tu kat sini diorang boleh lahir kan. Ramai kira orang yang apa orang kata, yang power dalam bidang bola sepak ni. Sebab kat sekolah pun, dari peringkat sekolah lagi diorang dah diajar untuk main bola sepak. Bayangkan macam mana daripada peringkat sekolah kebangsaan, sekolah tadika, kat sekolah waktu rehat diorang ada 2 rehat sebab diorang 8 pagi sampai 3, dan di antara 2 rehat tersebut diorang boleh main bola. Bayangkan datang ke live kita berada di Old Trafford. Bayangkan macam mana ni kedai dia. InsyaAllah saya nak tengok je, tak nak beli barang, tapi saya nak tengok saja merchandise MU ni sebab saya peminat MU sebenarnya. Tapi kelab yang saya lebih suka lah Air Malaya lah. Itulah. Kita nak masuk sekarang. Kalau tengok apa ni. Tapi itulah, kawalan kat sini memang ketat. Dia memang kalau nak katakan kawalan dia, bukan kat stadium MU je ada seperti ni. Kedai farmasi pun ada, security guard semua. Memang diorang takut lah macam mana. Jadi macam mana berpuasa di Malaysia, tuan-tuan puan? Adakah okey? Bagaimana suasana berpuasa di Malaysia dan wahana berhari-hari nanti? InsyaAllah di Malaysia. Saya kat sini insyaAllah akan beraya bersama 200 orang rakyat Malaysia. Ada perjumpaan kat sini. Ni bekas manager MU kan? Semat Rasti. $9.50 saya akan masuk. Ya, baru jam 9.30. Masih lagi menunggu pintu dia open. Nampak? Betul budak-budak dia power. Dia boleh main bola daripada peringkat apa? Peringkat kanak-kanak. Jadi bila dia orang bayar dia peringkat kanak-kanak, dari peringkat sekolah kebangsaan. Waktu dia cikgu main bola, pergi main bola. Diorang praktis hari 5 hari sekali pergi sekolah. 5 hari sekali, 5 hari, 2 kali main, 5 hari tu seminggu 5 kali dia main bola. Mana tak power? Kita kalau kat Malaysia main bola bila? PE, waktu PJ saja, waktu sukan saja. Mungkin seminggu sekali saja kalau di Malaysia. Kat sini, PJ tak PJ dia main bola. Pergi sekolah main bola, balik sekolah main bola, waktu rehat main bola. Waktu tengah belajar pun boleh main bola kadang-kadang, tapi cikgu tak bagilah. Bayangkan macam mana betapa powernya diorang ni power dalam bidang bola ni. Jadi macam mana kita nak jadikan Malaysia, saya punya pendapat, apa kata kita buat, kita galakkan budak-budak yang main bola. Yalah, aktiviti sihat. Kita nak anak-anak kita sihat. Kalau sebab negara kita banyak sangat orang yang obesity. kita boleh tengok berapa ramai rakyat kita kat Malaysia, berapa ramai orang kat Malaysia ada penyakit bermasalah. Kat sini, saya tengok tak ramai yang pakai semata kat sekolah. Bayangkan. Mungkin sebab diorang selalu bersukan, makan makanan. Diorang bersukan. Diorang bersukan. Dan salah satu benda naik, phone kat sekolah, dia bawa phone. Tanya macam ni dia tak main phone sangat. Bola, sukan. Diorang alihkan benda yang tak bermanfaat kepada benda yang bermanfaat dalam bidang kesukanan bola sepak. Bayangkan. Bayangkan. Kita kalau kat Malaysia nak bagi budak bawa phone boleh. Tapi kita buat sesuatu yang bermanfaat. Contohnya kita buat main bola ke, buat chess ke waktu rehat. Kalau kat sini dia nak main phone, dia nak main. Tapi sebab ada bola lebih menarik daripada phone. Pak bola. Kita choose bola lah. Ni. Ni tempat nak masuk dalam apa? Dalam club, dalam stadium ni. Okay, kita nak masuk sekarang, nampak tu? Museum and tour. Kita nak masuk sekarang ke dalam tu. Okay, kita nak masuk. Boleh ambil. Okay, nak masuk dah. Ni. Museum and tour center. Kita nak masuk sekarang ke dalam. Kita akan masuk sekarang, insyaAllah.
Through the museum, down 3 flights of stairs, big red desk, that's where you first go. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Dia kata apa?
Dari situ punya tanda tu.
Okay, kita dapat yang ni. Kita nak masuk dalam. Apa? Doktor. Ambil gambar pakai ni ni. Pakai ni.
Dekat sini.
Okay. Dekat dalam. Betul. Oh, pakai ni eh. Okay. Masuk dah. Hai. Ganggu tu. Selamat menyambut bulan Ramadan semua. Kita dah masuk dalam. Tema yang ni saya bawa nak ambil gambar saja. Sebab ni nak buat live. Kita ambil yang ni untuk ambil gambar. Apa kau saya? Ui, zip tu level 3. Ya, betul.
Now, 5 minutes before turn, please head down to level 1 inside.
Sure.
Wait,
Thank you.
when they finish, come back after.
All right.
Don't miss the tour.
Hai. Ayo. Ayo, Mas. Assalamualaikum.
Today, and then obviously I'm just gonna what they said. Got in anyway.
Ada bahasa Melayu. Oh, ada bahasa Melayu. Ada bahasa Melayu. Ada bahasa Melayu, guys. Guys, ada bahasa Melayu. Guys, bahasa Melayu. Doktor. Bahasa Melayu.
Yang pakai emas tu.
Jom.
Ni yang
Ni.
yang dekat Malacca. Hai. Ni. Abang boleh. Boleh. Terima kasih. Wow. Ni live dulu.
Lain gila ni.
Habis apa pernah jumpa siapa? Semua ni. Uncle Ishan lah.
Let's go to the Spurs.
Banyak klub Piala. Yang Piala Malaysia tak ada.
Dia kat rumah ni kan, dengan patahnya ni kan. Tahu tahu tahu.
Boleh. Nice. Apa? Cantik ada punya. Come on.
All right. Can you go in this row, please? Can you come down here, please?
Ambil Amar.
Once again,
Okay.
good morning. Good morning. Little bit shy, are we? Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Manchester United. My name's Alan, as I say. I'm going to be doing all the talking as we're going round, accompanied with my colleague here. We're here just to make sure, if possible, that you do enjoy yourselves as you're going round. Take as many photographs as you want. But as soon as we start to move to the next session, please just stand up or wherever we are, follow us to the next area. Now, Manchester United was formed in 1878. In them days, he had a very unusual name, not Manchester United. It was a railway company which started a sports section for its employees, and they decided the name Newton Heath, Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway, Cricket and Football Club would work for them. That's what the club was called. In 1902, however, the club almost went bankrupt. A very wealthy businessman, a local brewer in the area, wanted to become chairman. The club was going bankrupt, but he was elected to try and solve the problem. And then a gentleman by the name of John Henry Davis. Mr. Davis actually, but it's no different today. Every game here at this stadium is a complete sellout. We're just over the full round. You will notice some of them have a name on. Some of them have a name on. If you look down at the bottom, you can see. If you look down at the bottom, you can see quite a few down at the bottom with like a silver plaque at the back. You'll see them all over. These are the supporter who's been coming to watch Manchester United for at least 25 years. And out of 55,000 of them, there's 11,000 supporters who's been coming. We have hospitality in the stadium. This is one of our hospitality areas where you're sitting now, the Manchester Suite. On match days, you would have bought your ticket well in advance for the game, because all these seats can be bought for a single game, and they sold out very, very quickly. The price is round about £200 for a single game, because you get a nice meal before the game, you get snacks at half time, you get a nice seat, and you get a little comfortable room to go in while the game's about to start, so you relax before you come into the seated area. We also have 150 hospitality boxes where you see these windows all the way around the stadium. Now, Manchester United was the first club to try this venue out, the boxes. And it's such a success here at Old Trafford. Yes, every game is a complete sellout with them. In fact, these boxes at the prices I'm going to tell you now, for a small box for six people to come and watch every game in the season and have drinks, meals, snacks, etc., it would cost the club or the person who's bought it almost £90,000. Quite expensive. No. If you look in the corner over there, we have some 16-seater boxes. 16 people would come to watch the game, have a meal, snacks, drinks, £210,000. Every see that you will have it for a minimum of 3 years, because we do have a waiting list of about 4 years for those boxes. That's how much people want to come. Now we'll talk about the pitch in the stadium as we're going round. But before we go, where the logo was there used to be a wooden scoreboard. That was called the scoreboard end by our supporters. It was a wooden building and it had the alphabet at the top. Below each letter of the alphabet was 2 empty squares. And they used to put the half-time scores in these squares, so we knew how the games are going on around the country. And that's how we knew match days, how other teams are going on. We will show you the photograph of the old scoreboard so you get an idea what it's about. Behind me is the famous Sir Bobby Charlton stand. You can see his name on the stand there. Just below the stand is a television gantry. If you've watched games back home on TV, that's where most of your filming will come from, the gantry. But just underneath that area is some bright red seats. Can you see them? Yeah. That is a dearest section for our supporters. Approximately £55 a game, almost £1,000 for the season, and they're absolutely fantastic view. But every one of those is also sold out. Just behind them is the directors, that's one of the reasons. And in front of them is the dugout, where the substitutes and the coaching staff would be on match day. And we're going to go all the way around to that part as we go around the stadium tour. Before we leave this area, there's one part of the stadium I've not spoke about, the Trafford end. That's where our fanatical supporters are on match day, where they do all the chanting, the singing. And it's also an educational stand here for the young children at Manchester United. If you bring a small child for his first visit, that child will go away with a big smile on the face. Not that we've won, we do win occasionally. It's because they'll have learnt a lot of new words. So maybe you now open up any questions. No questions? Can I ask you please stand up and follow me colleague down the stairs. We're now going to the best place in the stadium for photographs. They're so keen, they won't just come around and meet you, they'll come around, meet you and take you out to the stadium. They won't join you on the tour, they don't have the time. So all we kindly ask, if the children or one of the adults wants the toilet, please let yourself or Ian know and we'll wait for you rather than leave you behind. Now also, we're not expecting any fire drills, any alarms going on. So if one does go off, please don't worry about it. We'll take you to the nearest point of evacuation and make sure you're all safe. And the way it happens on match day is if the alarms do go off, you see these doors here, they're all the way around the stadium. These doors will open automatically at the sound of the alarm, and it allows us to go out. But we, as I say, we're not expecting it. Now, when you normally come in on match day, you come through the turnstile system. These turnstile doors are quite small, so only one person at a time can come in. Your ticket will have a barcode. You present the barcode to the machine inside, it releases the mechanism for you to come in. As you come in, each person is counted, and that's how we know how many people are in the stadium at any one time for their safety. Once inside, you can buy a programme. You can have a bet. You can bet on all aspects of the game. And the kiosk. This is where you can buy all that nice healthy food, ladies and gents. The hot dogs, the food, pie, chocolate, fish. You can buy any healthy drinks you want, including alcohol. But you cannot suck any alcoholic drinks in the bowl of the stadium, the playing area. That has to be sucked here. That is a rule of the FA. That's a little bit about this area. That's all we need to tell you. Let's go. You carry on enjoying yourself. We're going to go around the corner there now. On the wall, right at the far end of this walkway, you're going to see a picture of the most famous manager ever in English football. You've all heard of Sir Alex? Yeah. Picture of Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, this isn't a painting, it's not a drawing, and it's not a photograph taken with a camera. Have a look from a distance. When you get close to it, it distorts.
gambar aku ni.
You see the picture there of Sir This goes all the way around this particular part of the stand tribute to Sir Alex. Now, that picture, as I say, it's not a painting, it's not a drawing, and it's not a photograph taken with a camera. Let's get a little bit closer. In 26 and a half years as our manager, he won 38 major trophies. The most successful manager ever in English football. And this is Sir Alex with just a few of them. Now, the tour guides everywhere in the part of the stadium, most of them ask in different sections. I always ask here, have we got any supporters from any other club? Any support, any Arsenal supporters? If you have an Arsenal supporter, we like to show them a trophy they've never seen at their stadium. They don't know what this one is, the Champions League. This way.
Musik. Nanti kita ada video. Ambil video. Ambil.
Just before we go through this little, what we call the link corridor, there's quite a number of photographs on the wall. Goals scored at this end of the stadium. But one of the photographs in particular, on this small wall here, it's the last one. Have a look at the top of the picture, because that is a picture of that scoreboard I told you about earlier on. And you'll get an idea of what I meant by putting the scores in the empty spaces. It's very funny.
Kak.
All I kindly ask, don't stop at the beginning of the platform, move to the far end, and you're going to get some nice photographs, please, this way.
Lah belakang gue pun cantik ke? Di. Kita nak pergi changing room dia. Okay, jom. Alah, pasal tu. Kita pasal.
Okay, this area is also for our wheelchair guests and blind people. We have a small room there for this section, what we call the Full Down Ability Suite. Our wheelchair guests and blind people can come early to the game, so they're not being pushed by the large crowds. You can go into these rooms and have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, a biscuit, something simple, but it's to make sure they're not being pushed and shoved arriving at the stadium. And the same thing happens at the end of the game. They can go in there for their own safety as well. Now, I know it's trivial when I say don't stop behind, but we do have to keep moving about. And if you do stop behind, it limits on how much we can talk to you. You know, there's a lot to talk about, so that's why we ask you to keep together. This way, please.
Dapat gambar itu. Sweet shop.
just before we do go to the changing room, just a brief explanation about this area, because this is the most historic part of the stadium. The stadium was first built in 1910, and behind you was the original changing room. This is where the lads of both teams used to get changed. They were quite small, roughly half the size here for the home team, half for the away team. And the players used to come down here for the start of the game. But there was no steps, it was a concrete base going down, quite a steep slope. And the old type of football boots was all leather. The studs were nailed onto the boot in them days, so it could be dangerous going down, slipping wise. So only one team at a time could go down. Now, during the Second World War, the stadium here at Old Trafford was bombed. And when they came back after the war, there was only one part of this area still standing. Most of the stadium was destroyed, but the walls and the roof were still here. And they wanted to knock it down and rebuild the stadium completely. But the directors at the time said, no, if the bombs couldn't get rid of it, why should we? Let's build the stadium for a second time around. And that's what they did. They practically copied the original building with the same type of dressing room. And the famous players in the past, what's gone down here, Diego Maradona when Barcelona played here in the European Cup. Yes, Eusebio, when we played the World Cup here. These are famous players from abroad. But we also had English players going down there, and in my opinion, one of the best ever to go down here is a young lad on this photograph. What we call the Busby Babes. That chap in the middle, he wanted to reduce the age of football to lads playing the game. And he reduced it by bringing teenagers into the team. And most of these young lads were just around about the age of 21, or even less. But the young lad, fourth from the end, a lad by the name of Duncan Edwards, believe me, is one of the best players I've ever seen playing at this stadium. I've been here watching Manchester United since the early 1950s. And yes, he was an outstanding player. But sadly, he was one of the young lads involved in the plane crash. Yes, a team travelling back from the European Cup stopped at Munich Airport to refuel. And while they were refueling the plane, it started to snow, very heavy. The runway became iced up and slushy, and the plane made 3 attempts to take off. At the 3rd attempt, the plane crashed at the end of the runway, killing 22 passengers. 9 of those young lads died in the plane crash, including Duncan Edwards. He died 15 days later. But yes, 19 players lost their lives. 2 players never kicked a ball again. That sad afternoon, we lost an entire team. And we do have a tribute to these young lads. I'll tell you about at the end of the tour. The famous Busby Babes here at Old Trafford. But 3 of the famous lads here at Old Trafford is the Trinity, Law, Best and Charlton. These 3 young lads were on the same team, and they won the top European award, the Ballon d'Or. Now, no other club have had 3 players who's won it for that team playing in the same. Yes, we did. It's a tribute to Manchester United. Display, please.
Just Josh Mays.
Abang lah.
Aku mau video. Aku tak lagi. Kan tak lagi. Bunda.
Now, when you get into the dressing room, the team lies over the shirt door. If you hold the shirt, have a photograph taken with it. But please do not remove it from the coat hanger. Do not wear it. And replace it exactly where you think it.
Lots and lots of kids.
To
It's on the same numbers, is that right? Yeah. When we get in the dressing room, we'll show you where the numbers fits, so you can sit in each chair.
Kan, peding kan? Rasa peding. Macam pusing-pusing. Okay.
First time I've seen that.
Apa nombor 11?
Dia nak seorang je nak juga.
Oh, then there's a cupboard, yeah, well, they're locked up.
Ni.
Aduh.
Aku tengok abang tak
Nak
ni.
gambar juga hang ingat.
Abang kan tak minat
Yes, ladies and gents, if you just want to have a photograph holding the shirt, the easiest way, just hold your coat hanger underneath these ends here. Then replace it, aim outwards, where you took it from, that's all.
Tak, ni nama sebenar. Tak, ni nama sebenar. Ha? Bukan eh? Oh, cantik lah tempat dia. Bawah. Ha?
These are not a match worn shirt. They're just a replica, just to show you what it looks like on match days. Now, when the players first arrive, roughly 4.5 hours before kick-off, they come into here, there's quite a number of chairs sat here. The players will sit down, waiting for the coach to start his pre-match talk, because not only is this a television, they can also change it, the controls are underneath, it can change it into one of these tactics boards, where they can move the players about a little bit, and talk about how they're going to perform in the game. Spend roughly 30 minutes discussing before they go up to the stairs to have the pre-match meal. At that time, they don't know if you're going to be playing that day or not. There's no names, no indication in there who's going to be the 11 starters. It's only changed when the players leave to go and have the pre-match meal. The kick staff, the players who, the people who get the kick ready for them, will be in here changing, making sure the shirts are up, the towels are here, the shorts, socks, boots, everything is laid out for them. And the 11 players who's going to start the game will be the goalkeeper here, and then 4 defenders. On the other side, you've got the forwards and the midfield players. Other shirts you'll see around are obviously the substitutes, but we do have quite a number of players injured at the moment, but their shirts, a couple of them are hanging up here, just to show you what it looks like. When they come in, the medical beds will be there if a player wants a massage before they go out to do the warm-up session. They go onto the pitch to warm up for 30 minutes, coming back in here and getting ready for the start of the game. The referee, his room is just across the passage here. You'll see that in a few minutes' time as you walk through. Now the referee will ring a bell. That bell will ring in here and the away dressing room, asking the players to be ready to go down to the tunnel. 1 minute later, yes, another bell will sound, and that's when the captain from both teams will set the players into the tunnel. They play the first half, and when they come back in at half time, the fridge is stocked with the energy drinks, the energy bars, the gels, glucose for players' energy, the beds for massaging. They'll do a discussion about the second half, but if you bring in a substitute on, they use the whiteboard here. The coach will be here talking with the player who's going to become a substitute at half time. At the end of the game, when the players return in here at the final part of the game, the medical beds have been moved. The laundry basket's there for the players to put the boots, shorts, socks, but very rarely is there a full set of shirts here. Our players are still giving the children in the crowd the shirt for their supportive act for this pandemic which has been going around the world for a few years, but they still give them the shirt. They go round here, on the other side of the TV is the wet room. The first thing you see as you walk past in a minute or two is the ice box. Now, these are ice water these days, not ice particles. The players stand up in the ice water just for a couple of minutes to rejuvenate the body. It gets rid of the acids in the muscles, but it will also treat minor injuries, bruising, kicks, anything of that nature before they go into the hot shower. They have the shower, they come back in here, they get changed, and then they'll go into the stadium to meet the families. Yes, some of the players do have these private boxes around the stadium, but that's all about the changing room. The last thing I've not told you, when the players come on match days, they don't bring much with them. All they have is a little toiletry bag. This is where they can charge the mobile phone, or put the wedding bands, the rings, mobile phones, car keys. That's all they are for. They're quite narrow. They don't have locks on because Alex Ferguson always stated to the players, if you can't trust your fellow players in the dressing room, how will you trust them on the pitch? And that's why there's no locks on these. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, the referee's just rang his bell. Let's go into the tunnel. This way, please.
Jaga puasa kan.
Ah, 这去了。
AJ.
Okay, ladies and gents, just briefly, a little bit of an introduction. The tunnel. We came to this part of the stadium in 1993, and the reason they came to this area for the changing rooms and the tunnel to go out onto the pitch is because of two sad incidents in football. That's Hillsborough and Bradford. On both occasions, many people died in the stadium. But there was also people lying on the grass, waiting for treatment from the ambulance service. It took a while to get the ambulances in to treat these people. The FA held an inquiry, and the inquiry recommended every stadium now must have a facility where the ambulances can get in quickly if there is an incident. That gate behind you will open as high as the ceiling. The ambulances can drive in. But before they get any further than the tunnel, we have to remove it. The tunnel is on quick release fasteners, nylon wheels. As you release the fasteners, it starts to move down on its own. But there's always a couple of stewards here ready to push it onto the pitch within a matter of seconds. But that's not the most important part of this tunnel, ladies and gents. If you look where the crest is here, above this section of the stadium is these seats for the supporters. If there was an incident, the supporters will be moved from that area, and that part of the stands will go up 8 metres, 25 feet. So not just the ambulance service can come in, even the fire tenders can get onto the pitch to treat any incidents here at the stadium, whether it's fires or people just injured. We can treat them as quickly as possible. Now getting back to match days, quite a few studs in the wall there. This is where the sponsors' boards will be match day. They hang them on. They don't put them on while we're going round because we have roughly, on a single weekend, roughly 2,000 people in a day going through the tours. Only needs to knock them and then fall off, maybe injure somebody, so we remove them from that, but the day match day. This is where players will be interviewed at the end of the game by the television. These are the right television mics here. They would be asked questions about the game just taking place. Even the managers are interviewed in these areas. But they get interviewed in a special place a bit later on, the press room. And you'll see that before we leave the tour. Now, if you can imagine it match days, the referee will send the players into the tunnel. The away team would come from there, Manchester United here, and they'll line up, waiting to go out. Now, we're going to do it a little bit different. Can we have the 2 children to come to the front? You standing up next to each other here. And we want 2 lines, 2 teams. Come on, behind these. Yeah, we'll do it this way. He's the captain of 1 team. are actually cutting it. They cut it every other day. And then after they cut it, they put the treatment on. There's 3 different treatments you use here at Old Trafford. The normal fertiliser, the second one, seaweed, liquid seaweed. But the most important one, ladies and gents, most of you have in your cupboard tobacco when you're doing your cooking. Garlic. They've got gallons and gallons and gallons of liquid garlic on that pitch. And when you're walking around the stadium, not in here, you can certainly smell it here, but if you're walking roughly 600 or 700 yards outside the stadium, it's so strong you can smell it. But it's vital here, because underneath the ground are many grass where they cut short and grub will find its way below. And it likes to feed off the root. To prevent this, garlic is the only substance that will get rid of that grub, but allow the earthworms to carry on living. Just look at it, proves the best pitch in the football league. Now, before we leave, what do you think of these seats, ladies and gents? What are you sitting on? They go down there. Comfy. If you'd have been here last week on a tour, by now you'd have be burning your bottom. Because these seats are heated. I've turned them off specially for you. Okay. TV gantries above our head now, but the most important part before we're going to is the press room. Just follow me this way. Before we do, this is where the press of the work on the meeting program. The video with the manager. What will they go into the press room now?
Jangan patah kaki sini.
And talk to the press. You were sitting where the press are now. The press would be asking the managers questions. Out of courtesy, Manchester United always welcome the visiting manager first to come in here to talk to the press. Simple reason that, no matter which team we play, they've got to travel when the game's finished. So we give the manager a chance to come along. He will bring one of his colleagues with him, but there will be a press officer here. The press officer will be sitting in the corner here, waiting for somebody to make an awkward question about a player's private life, or players making a transfer request, things of that nature. They can only ask about the game. So if anybody brings a subject up which is not about the game, he will stop the meeting immediately. When the away team manager's finished, roughly 10, 12 minutes, he will go back down to the changing room, then Ruben will come in here. He will come in here and he will start, answering questions. So, for a few minutes, ladies and gents, believe it or not, you're the famous press. So, what do the press do? Ask questions. That's one of the best conferences I've had for a long time. From 1993 to 2003, this is where we signed players also. Players like Terry Sheringham, Andy Coles, Dwight York, Roy Keane, Eric Cantona, Jack Stam, Peter Schmeichel, the list goes on and on. This is where all the famous players first signed for Manchester United. But we stopped using it to see the event. So it's so easy now to do it on the internet. We did build a room at Carrington, but again, with just over 200 seats, that's not big enough. So internet, they film it, within a matter of seconds it can be worldwide. So that's what we do now, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to give you the opportunity to become the famous players. We're going to have the opportunity to come and sit in these seats. The colleague's going to talk to you now for a couple of minutes, and he'll tell you all about it.
Okay guys, so a short chance to come and sit at the middle of the desk here. What we do is we take 2 images of you. First image will be just yourselves in the middle here. The second image gives you the opportunity to have the manager or one of the players superimposed as if they're sat at the end of the desk with you. So if you're interested, all we would ask that you do, stay seated. If you're not interested, you can follow Alan next door to wait whilst we do any photos. If you've got a prepaid photo package, this photo is included in that package. But if, as I say, if you are interested, you don't need a photo package, we can still do your photo, and you'll be able to look at the photos in the megastore and decide if you're going to buy them. So, decision to be made, guys. If you want the photo, stay seated. If you're not interested, follow Alan next door.
So if you're not interested, carry the money.
Apa?
Nanti gambar tu nanti lagi harus tu.
Jom.
Dia lain.
There's quite a number of photographs here with our former players, managers like Sir Alex up here. There's quite a few of them with Sir Alex. These go to private functions and they raise funds, which enables us to do everything we can for our wheelchair guests and blind supporters. Okay, ladies and gents, we're almost at the end of the tour now, but before we do, we're going to take you to a part where it's well worth seeing if you've not seen it before. Before we do, we're going to have to let you out the doors here.
stadium. Tour of the stadium.
Are we coming out this way or are we going back?
Well, I'll just talk about there.
We're going back.
Yeah. No, we're going this way. We are making the two guys now and on the end. We're just opening the doors outside so everywhere is going. Okay, earlier I did mention something about Munich. On the top of the stand, we have what we call Munich clock. It's never been in a stop position, that clock. What people used to do, it was stopped at 4 minutes past 3, the time of the play. February the 6th, 1958. On the wall there, part of the stand, you've got the plaque at the stadium or the pitch with the players' names and the coaching staff who actually guiding the playing staff. Underneath it is the lineup that very last game. But I did mention the Munich Tunnel. If you've not seen the Munich Tunnel, ladies and gents, it's well worth going down and having a look. The Munich Tunnel is just behind you there. There is 10 plaques explaining all about that sad afternoon. The first plaque you see is just an introduction, then the first game before Munich, the game we played, and then the rebuilding of the team. It's well worth seeing if you've not already done so. When you finish there, you can either go to the register, which is just round the corner here, or go back to the museum. If you've not seen the museum, your tickets, which you have around your neck, are valid up to 4 o'clock today. So you can go back to the museum if you want. Also the Red Cafe's there if you want to have a warm drink or something. But on behalf of him himself, ladies and gents, we are at the end of the stadium tour. If you've got my name, you don't have to mention him, he's done nothing wrong. You can mention him. It's just to say that we've done your tour and we hope that you've enjoyed it. More importantly, ladies and gents, enjoy the rest of your day. But when you're travelling back to the hotel or wherever you're going to stay, you travel safely. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cool.